Hey guys, in this video, I wanted to go over some changes that my coach and I are making to my bench press training in particular, since I've been feeling like rather beat up in my joints, muscles, like really never truly strong when I want to on my primary day. So I'm going to show you guys what I was doing before and then what changes we're making and sort of why, and also like just in the context of the program, just so you guys can have like some of my thought process behind programming and how I collaborate with my coach. So first things first, this is what I was doing before with my coach. It was essentially, we're doing like a couple of days of, a top set, or basically, if you look at this right here, you're doing, my first day was a double and then 2x6 with some down sets. And then we were doing, this is my primary day as well, a double and then a 3x5. And then we were doing some spindle press and incline press. And I've really been feeling quite beat up just kind of all the time in my shoulders and in my chest. In particular, I have actually a history of having strains in my left shoulder and chest, like kind of like where it attaches like right like underneath my like onto my humerus. So I think that's what you would say. But so in the past block too, like I was doing like a decent amount of volume too. But the thing is that like I've really only been able to sort of like maintain my bench press strength. And I haven't really been able to progress it. And since I've been feeling rather fatigued, my coach and I sort of made a choice to change around my bench press training to do something a little bit more accessory focused, especially because if you guys look at sort of like my squat training, like in terms of actual sets that I do per week on my squat, I do roughly four sets right there, and I do 3 sets on my secondary day. And then I do 3 sets of my secondary day of deadlift, and then I do 4 sets on my deadlift. So I do, this is 305 right there. I do essentially 7 sets on my deadlift per week too. And then, everything else is sort of filled in by accessories. Like in terms of quad volume that I do, it's like 15 sets, like 8 sets of like accessories to fill in the gap with my deadlift. I do tons of back work. It's roughly like 15 sets of back, and then I only do three sets of leg curls. And then on my bench press, though, we've kind of been doing just like a pretty like high specificity program for myself. And the reality is that I'm not one of those people who I really think that I can tolerate the really heavy, like high frequency benchings. I tend to just get really beat up from that. I had like one stint in the past where I did like 4 times a week, and I did make good progress, but I got hurt. And so really for me, it's sort of been having to take a step back and really look at like, okay, well, in the context of like what my background is, what I really enjoy doing, what I can recover from, well, why don't we just try pushing some more of the accessory movements? And because I come from a bodybuilding background, that's how I start off training, and then really let that sort of be the majority of the stimulus that I'm getting for my bench press, while having basically the bare minimum bench press practice to really trigger those neurological adaptations. Also, like I just need to get like more jacked on my arms and whatnot. And bench press just is not a very recoverable movement for how I'm built. It's similar to like why squat is not a very recoverable movement, like why I do basically kind of a lot of deadlift volume for my strength, but just because I'm built really well for it. And so really this is where, in general, as a rule of thumb, if you have better leverages for something, you have more of that stimulus for the total weekly volume come from that exercise in particular. Whereas if you are built like me, you have orangutan arms, really long legs, short torso, you probably need to rely a little bit more on accessory to get in the majority of that other stimulus. That's also going to be more recoverable. And so really, if you look at what I'm doing now, it's only doing 1 top set per week as opposed to doing 2 heavier top sets. And then I'm doing, my other day, a 3x5, so still moderately heavy, and I'm doing some flat dumbbell bench press. And then this day is really just going to be like around 80 to 84% of like a super light comp bench. This is like honestly felt like sub 5 to today. And then just filling in the rest of the volume with actual dumbbell bench pressing. So again, I do a lot of accessory you guys can see, but it's sort of like my thought process behind things. And I guess a big takeaway message I would have for anybody watching is that if you are feeling really beat up from like what's supposed to work, you should scale back, because largely if you're feeling like beat up in training, you're not able to make strength progress, because strength is so sensitive to that fatigue, in most cases, especially if you have a long range of motion, is due to doing too much work. Whereas if you have more of a longer or sort of more of an efficient range of motion, typically you might need more work. That was actually the thing that I had to do with my deadlift training to help get more progress. I had to add in another set and do like a higher rep secondary similar to the deadlift day because I was able to get a little bit more volume in that way. So hopefully this makes sense. If you guys are having troubles with progressing your bench press, like the typical training protocols, try this out, try some approach out. But we'll see how this works. This is like sort of like something I'm making going into my meet. In worst case scenario, I maintain my strength like I have. So, but I'm pretty confident that with as long as I feel better and more recovered. Also, I have like 2 days of rest before my primary day. So that should help me feel a lot more recovered. I'm not having any barbell work going into that stuff for like a very, very light single will help prime me. So if you guys have any questions, just ask down in the comments below.